An evil person often disguises themselves under a charming or likable exterior, but beneath that facade lies a talent for manipulation that is hard to detect at first. This manipulation is one of the most dangerous traits they possess because it works silently, yet effectively. They know how to twist your emotions, confuse your reality, and make you question your own instincts. It's not always blatant or aggressive. In fact, the most dangerous manipulators are subtle and deliberate. They weave a web of lies and half-truths so skillfully that you may not even realize you've been caught until it's too late. One of the most common tactics they use is gaslighting, which is the art of making you doubt your perception of events or your judgment. You may say something like, "I know you said this to me," and they will respond with confidence, "I never said that. You must be imagining things." Over time, this subtle denial of your reality can make you question your own sanity. You may start to feel unsure of yourself, constantly second-guessing what you saw, heard, or felt. This is exactly what they want. Once they weaken your confidence in yourself, they gain control. But gaslighting is just one of their tools. Evil people are masters at emotional exploitation. They know how to play on your deepest fears, desires, or insecurities to manipulate your behavior. For instance, if they sense that you are afraid of abandonment, they may use that against you by threatening to leave, ignoring you, or giving you the silent treatment whenever you don't comply with their demands. If they know you crave approval or validation, they may shower you with compliments and affection only when it serves their purpose and then withdraw it as a form of punishment. You may find yourself doing things you don't want to do just to keep their approval or avoid their anger. Slowly, your decisions become less about what you truly want and more about pleasing them or avoiding conflict. The hallmark of a manipulative person is their ability to twist words and distort facts to serve their agenda. They excel at turning themselves into the victim, even when they are the ones causing harm. If you try to hold them accountable for something, they will often deflect blame or find a way to make you feel guilty instead. For example, if you confront them about their hurtful actions, they might say, "I did that because you pushed me to it." Or, "If you hadn't done this, I wouldn't have reacted that way." Before you know it, you're the one apologizing, even though they are the ones in the wrong. They also thrive on creating confusion and chaos. Their words and actions rarely align, leaving you in a constant state of uncertainty. One moment they may act kind and loving, making you feel special and secure, but the next moment they may act cold or distant without any explanation. This inconsistency keeps you on edge, always trying to figure out what version of them you're going to get. You may spend an exhausting amount of time trying to analyze their behavior, looking for clues about what you did wrong or how you can fix things. This confusion is not accidental. It's part of their strategy to keep you under their control. Another powerful tool they use is guilt. They know how to make you feel like you owe them something even when you don't. They may remind you of everything they've done for you and paint themselves as the selfless hero while casting you as the ungrateful one. This emotional manipulation can make it difficult for you to stand up for yourself or set boundaries because you feel indebted to them. For example, they may say, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me." Even if their behavior has been toxic or abusive, you may still feel a sense of obligation to stay or keep the peace. What makes manipulative people particularly dangerous is how convincing they can be. They are often charismatic, persuasive, and even skilled at reading people. They know how to say the right things to gain your trust and sympathy. But beneath that charm lies a person who is driven by selfish motives. They may pretend to care about you, but in reality, their actions are always about what they can get from you. Once they no longer have use for you, they will discard you without hesitation, leaving you feeling confused, hurt, and empty. It's important to recognize that manipulation is not a one-time act. It's a repeated pattern of behavior. It's a cycle that keeps you trapped, making it harder to see the truth or break free. You may feel that if you try harder, love them more, or change yourself, they will finally treat you better. But this is the illusion they want you to believe. The truth is, no matter what you do, a manipulative person will never be satisfied because their goal is not a healthy, equal relationship, it's control. The best way to deal with a manipulative person is to recognize their tactics and set firm boundaries. Trust your instincts. If someone's words and actions don't align, pay attention to that red flag. If you constantly feel drained, anxious, or confused around someone, it's a sign that something is not right. Remember that you don't owe anyone your time, energy, or loyalty if they are using you or causing you harm. Distance yourself from their influence and reclaim your power. In the end, manipulation only works if you allow it to. By recognizing the signs, trusting yourself, and refusing to be controlled, you can free yourself from their grip and protect your peace. Always choose yourself because you deserve to live a life that is free from deception and emotional games. An unmistakable sign you are dealing with an evil person is their complete lack of empathy. Empathy is the foundation of human connection that allows us to feel for others, to share in their joy, pain, and struggles. Without it, a person becomes emotionally disconnected, unable to recognize or care about the harm they cause. Evil individuals often show an unsettling inability to put themselves in someone else's shoes. They may see you suffering in pain or overwhelmed, but instead of offering compassion, they remain indifferent or worse, they take satisfaction in it. It's important to understand that this lack of empathy is not accidental. It's part of their core personality. These individuals are not simply careless or distracted. They are deliberately cold and unfeeling. They may view other people as tools to serve their needs rather than human beings with emotions and struggles. For instance, if you share a difficult moment with them, like losing a loved one or facing a challenge at work, their response may seem mechanical or dismissive. Instead of comfort, you may hear phrases like "you're overreacting" or "it's not that big of a deal." They may roll their eyes, change the subject, or act as if your struggles are insignificant. This response can leave you feeling unseen, unheard, and isolated. But what makes them particularly dangerous is not just their lack of empathy, it's how they use that void to their advantage. When they see you in pain, they don't try to lift you up, they use your vulnerability as leverage. If you open up to them about something that hurts you, they may later use it against you. For example, if you share a fear of failure or abandonment, they might exploit that fear to control you. They may mock your insecurities in moments of conflict, saying things like, "No wonder no one stays in your life," or "You'll never succeed at this." These are not accidental slips. They know exactly what they are doing. They see the cracks in your armor, and instead of helping you heal, they make the cracks deeper. The lack of empathy often translates into a blatant disregard for boundaries. Boundaries are what allow healthy relationships to thrive. They create respect, trust, and safety. However, for an evil person, boundaries are meaningless because they see them as obstacles to getting what they want. If you ask for space, they will invade it. If you ask for respect, they will dismiss it. They may violate your emotional, physical, or mental boundaries in subtle or overt ways, leaving you feeling disrespected and powerless. For instance, they may push you into uncomfortable situations, dismiss your no as unimportant, or continue harmful behaviors even after you've expressed how much they hurt you. This lack of empathy also manifests in their inability to celebrate others. When you experience success, joy, or progress, their reaction may seem hollow or resentful. They are incapable of genuinely sharing in your happiness because they don't care about your well-being. Instead of lifting you up, they may undermine your achievements or minimize your progress. If you get a promotion at work, for instance, they might say it's probably because you got lucky. Don't get too excited. It's not that impressive. Their words may seem small or passive-aggressive, but over time, this behavior chips away at your self-esteem and confidence. At their worst, individuals without empathy often find pleasure in the suffering of others. This is a chilling reality to confront, but it's important to recognize. If you've ever noticed someone smirking, laughing, or appearing indifferent when you're in distress, it's a sign that something is deeply wrong. These individuals thrive on power and control, and seeing others in pain may give them a twisted sense of satisfaction. It's why they may provoke arguments, sabotage relationships, or spread lies. They enjoy the chaos they create. Their lack of emotional connection makes it easy for them to harm others without feeling guilt or remorse. One of the most dangerous aspects of dealing with someone who lacks empathy is how they can make you feel like you're the problem. You may find yourself questioning whether you're being too sensitive, too demanding, or too emotional. They may say things like you're always playing the victim or you're too weak to handle life over time. This can erode your self-worth, leaving you feeling as though your emotions are invalid. But let me remind you, it's not weak to feel, it is human. If someone refuses to acknowledge or respect your feelings, that says far more about them than it does about you. What's even more frustrating is that they can be so skilled at hiding this lack of empathy from others. In public, they may act kind, charming, or generous, leading people to believe they are compassionate and caring. But behind closed doors, their true nature is revealed. This duality can make it difficult to explain their behavior to others. You may feel isolated because no one else sees what you see. But the absence of empathy always reveals itself over time through their actions, their words, and their repeated disregard for how they affect others. Recognizing this trait is crucial because a person without empathy will not change. You cannot teach them to care or force them to understand your pain. The best way to protect yourself is to accept that their behavior is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of their inability to connect on a human level. You deserve relationships that are built on kindness, respect, and understanding. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your victories, stand with you in struggles, and validate your experiences. The most powerful thing you can do is trust yourself. If you feel unheard, unseen, or drained around someone, it's a sign that something is not right. Your feelings are real, your emotions are valid, and your boundaries deserve respect. By recognizing a lack of empathy for what it is, you can walk away, protect your peace, and surround yourself with people who truly care. No one deserves to be made to feel small or insignificant. Choose people who see you, value you, and love you for who you are. One of the most telling signs you're dealing with an evil person is their manipulative behavior. Manipulation is a subtle yet powerful tactic that is used to control and exploit others, often without their victim even realizing it. These individuals use manipulation as a tool to achieve their own ends, regardless of how much harm it causes the people around them. Manipulation can take many forms, but at its core, it involves controlling someone else's thoughts, actions, and emotions to benefit oneself. A common manipulation technique is gaslighting, where the person distorts reality to make you question your own memory, perception, or sanity. This can range from small lies to full-blown emotional abuse. For example, they may tell you something happened that didn't, or deny that they ever said something that was true, all in an effort to make you doubt yourself. Over time, this constant undermining of your sense of reality can leave you feeling confused, insecure, and completely dependent on them for your own understanding of the world. The purpose of gaslighting is not just to distort the truth, but to make the victim feel crazy or unstable, allowing the manipulator to take control of the situation. It's insidious because it can be difficult to recognize, especially in the early stages. You may find yourself defending your perception of events, repeatedly questioning your judgment, and eventually losing confidence in your own thoughts. This self-doubt is exactly what the manipulator wants. Once they have you questioning your own reality, they hold the power in the relationship. Another manipulative tactic is playing the victim. This is when an individual constantly portrays themselves as the one who is wronged, regardless of the situation. The evil person might tell stories of how they were mistreated, how people have always taken advantage of them, or how life is unfair to them. They do this to elicit sympathy, control your emotions, and put the focus on themselves. This victimhood allows them to avoid accountability for their own actions as they constantly shift the narrative to how they're suffering or how they are always misunderstood. By adopting the role of a victim, the manipulator manipulates others into doing what they want, whether that be offering support, giving money, or tolerating bad behavior. This behavior may seem innocuous at first. Everyone has hardships, and we all need sympathy from time to time. But when it becomes a pattern, it's an attempt to manipulate your emotions. You end up feeling like you need to fix their problems or help them, and they use this need to drain your energy and resources without ever taking responsibility for their own actions. Evil people are also notorious for playing on your fears, vulnerabilities, and insecurities. They know that everyone has weaknesses and they take full advantage of them. If you have a fear of failure, for instance, they may undermine your confidence, saying things like, "You'll never succeed at this, so why even try?" If you have insecurities about your appearance, they may make hurtful remarks that reinforce those feelings, pushing you to feel unattractive or inadequate. The goal is not only to hurt you in the moment, but to create a lasting sense of insecurity that they can later manipulate. This form of emotional manipulation can be particularly damaging because it feeds on your deepest fears and doubts. Over time, you may begin to believe that their negative messages are true, that you are incapable or undeserving of success, or that you're not worthy of love and respect. The manipulator knows this, and they use it to their advantage, making you feel dependent on them for validation and approval. This dependency gives them even more power to control your actions and decisions. Furthermore, an evil person's manipulative tendencies are often wrapped in a layer of charm and sweetness. They may come off as friendly, charismatic, and likable, which makes it difficult to see the manipulation for what it is. They know how to make a good first impression, to appear caring and concerned, but their motives are always self-serving. They may shower you with compliments and affection at the start, only to later twist those emotions for their own gain. By the time you realize that their compliments were a cover-up for manipulation, you may already be deeply involved or emotionally attached to them. Another manipulation tactic often used by evil individuals is emotional blackmail. This occurs when they use your emotions against you to get what they want. For example, they may threaten to leave or withdraw affection if you don't comply with their demands. They could also make you feel guilty for not doing what they want, playing on your sense of obligation or duty. If you really cared about me, you would do this, or you owe me after everything I've done for you, are common phrases used to manipulate others emotionally. By making you feel responsible for their happiness, they create a false sense of obligation, forcing you to act in a way that benefits them, even if it hurts you. Manipulative people are often highly skilled at exploiting any weakness they can find. This could be a past trauma, an insecurity, or even a past mistake. They hold on to this information, using it as ammunition to manipulate or control you. They may bring it up during arguments to provoke a reaction or to force you to feel guilty about your past. By holding your history over your head, they can maintain dominance in the relationship, ensuring that you always feel like you owe them something. Finally, the manipulator will often use the tactic of isolation. This is when they subtly push you away from your support network, family, friends, or colleagues so they can have more control over you. They may criticize your friends or family, suggesting that they don't truly care about you or that you're better off without them. By sowing doubt and mistrust, they can make you feel isolated and dependent on them for social interaction, validation, and support. This further increases their control over your life, as they become your only source of emotional connection. The manipulative behaviors of evil individuals may be subtle at first, but they grow more pronounced over time. Recognizing these tactics for what they are, manipulation, is the first step in protecting yourself from their influence. Once you understand how they operate, you can create boundaries and protect yourself emotionally. It's important to remember that manipulation is a form of emotional abuse, and no one has the right to control your feelings or actions for their own benefit. When you encounter such behavior, it's crucial to distance yourself, seek support from trusted individuals, and reclaim your own autonomy. The best way to deal with a manipulative person is to stop allowing them to control your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Your life, your choices, and your happiness are yours to protect. The key sign that you are dealing with an evil person is their consistent lack of empathy or genuine concern for others. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, to connect with them on a human level, and to respond with kindness and understanding. An empathetic person is considerate of how their actions affect others, and they strive to help, support, and uplift those around them. However, an evil person operates from a place of indifference or cruelty. They lack the ability to empathize with others, and in many cases, their behavior may actively cause harm, knowing full well the impact it has on those they interact with. One of the most glaring signs of a lack of empathy is when an individual repeatedly engages in harmful behaviors without showing any remorse. They may hurt or manipulate people for personal gain, and yet they will show no signs of guilt, sorrow, or regret. For instance, if they make a hurtful comment or break a promise, they will not feel the need to apologize or make amends. In fact, they may even justify their actions, claiming that they are entitled to act the way they do or that the other person deserved it. The inability to recognize the emotional impact of their actions on others is a clear indication that they are disconnected from basic human empathy. For example, an evil person might intentionally sabotage someone else's success. They might spread rumors, undermine their reputation, or take credit for someone else's hard work. While others around them may feel deeply upset or frustrated by these actions, the evil person shows no concern for the damage they have caused. Instead of taking responsibility or expressing regret, they may even take pleasure in the discomfort they create. They may view the suffering of others as an opportunity to further their own interests or bolster their own ego. Their ability to remain indifferent to the harm they cause is a powerful sign that they lack empathy and are willing to cause pain without a second thought. A lack of empathy often manifests as emotional detachment. Evil individuals may seem completely out of touch with the emotions of others, reacting to difficult situations with coldness or indifference. When someone shares their struggles or pain, they might respond with a dismissive comment such as, "It's not a big deal," or "You should just get over it." Instead of offering compassion or support, they minimize the other person's feelings as if their emotions were irrelevant. This emotional detachment is particularly damaging because it makes the other person feel invalidated, as though their experiences and emotions don't matter. The evil person, in their indifference, might even try to convince others that they are overreacting or being too sensitive. This lack of emotional validation can leave individuals feeling isolated and misunderstood, further enabling the manipulator to maintain control. Another characteristic of people who lack empathy is their tendency to view relationships in terms of utility or self-interest. They are less concerned with building genuine connections or offering support to others and more focused on how they can benefit from the relationship. For them, relationships are transactional. They will invest time and energy in someone only if they believe they can gain something in return. Once they have extracted what they want, they may discard the person without a second thought, showing no regard for the emotional toll the relationship may have had on the other party. They might exploit people for financial gain, personal advancement, or simply for attention and validation. This utilitarian view of relationships can make the victim feel like they are being used rather than valued. The inability to empathize also leads to a lack of accountability. Because an evil person cannot understand how their actions affect others, they rarely take responsibility for the harm they cause. If they are confronted about their behavior, they may become defensive, shifting blame onto others, or they may try to justify their actions by claiming that they were in the right. Rather than reflecting on how they've hurt someone or seeking to make things right, they will continue their harmful behavior, believing that they are above reproach. Their self-centeredness prevents them from seeing the world from another person's perspective, and as a result, they refuse to acknowledge the consequences of their actions. In extreme cases, the lack of empathy can manifest as outright cruelty or sadism. Evil individuals may take pleasure in the suffering of others, deriving a sense of power or satisfaction from causing pain. They may engage in bullying, harassment, or other forms of abuse, finding enjoyment in watching others suffer. This behavior goes beyond mere indifference. It shows a deep-seated malice and a disregard for basic human decency. Whether it's verbal abuse, physical harm, or emotional manipulation, the goal is to control, dominate, and break the spirit of the other person, all while remaining impervious to any emotional consequences themselves. This lack of empathy is not always immediately obvious. Sometimes it may manifest in subtle ways, such as ignoring someone's feelings or avoiding situations where emotional support is required. However, over time, the repeated lack of concern for others will become more apparent. It's important to recognize these behaviors early on so that you can protect yourself and set boundaries in relationships where the personal, professional empathy plays a crucial role in creating a healthy and supportive environment. If someone consistently fails to show empathy or understanding, they are likely not interested in a genuine, caring relationship, but are instead focused on exploiting others for their own benefit. Ultimately, the lack of empathy exhibited by evil individuals can be emotionally and psychologically damaging to those around them. It breeds an environment of distrust, fear, and emotional manipulation, where the focus is always on the manipulator's needs and desires. Recognizing this behavior and understanding its impact is essential in protecting oneself from being taken advantage of. It's important to establish clear boundaries with such individuals, to seek support from trusted friends and family, and to take steps to remove yourself from toxic environments. By doing so, you can reclaim your peace of mind and protect your emotional well-being.